Hi there, and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to get into Volume 2, Episode 1 of my scrapbooks. And we're still continuing kind of a little bit in I'm just going to say the 75 to 77 thereabout lull, instead of saying the White Album or Rumors or 1976, because honestly, I'm not sure of a lot of these, and I know it's definitely not in any order. So just to save face, I'm going to say that's the era we're in. There's a part which will be in episode 2 that starts with the Rumors long box, like I had mentioned in the past. That's kind of what I was using to begin chapters of each part of the Fleetwood Mac journey. But at this point right now, these pages were loose to begin with. They had yet to go into an album. And as it were, the Fleetwood Mac 75 album and the Fleetwood Mac Rumors album, I didn't know where to put the 76, either at the back of 75 or the beginning of 77, and still it's too many pages, so it had to be split anyway. So I just don't know what book to put it in. So I'm just going to put it in the middle of book one, not in the middle, after book one, starting volume 2, and just go from there. And hopefully it'll all come out in the wash where it's supposed to be when I really do put them in the books. But anyway, sorry about that. I'm going to start with some really cool pictures that I'm pretty sure I didn't show in the past when I was doing some loose pages in my little pop-up pages. But these were some photos I got from a buyer in somebody on eBay that lived in Japan and had taken these photos. And when I received them, I wish I don't know where I put them, but I can't throw stuff like this away because they came in these little, almost like little souvenir books. Like in the 70s and 80s, you would go get your film developed, and sometimes they would put all the pictures in a little booklet for you. And it's a really generic little booklet with, crappy plastic little sleeves, and they slide in. But the person probably had them, was so happy probably with what they took at this concert, and they had them in this album ever since. And it was really neatly written inside, Fleetwood Mac in English, and then possibly what looked like in Japanese. And I kept the little books too, because it is just the character of these pictures. And if memory serves me correct, because I couldn't get a lot of information from the seller, but I believe it was the person who took the photos, and they just didn't want them anymore. The time, it was cool then, but if they took them in 77 or 76, whenever these were taken, pardon me, they've had them a long time. They no longer have the negative, so I have the only copies known, because they didn't know where those were at. They certainly hadn't sold them. They've just been lost over time, and they just didn't want the photos anymore. And so I started to put the pages together, and I had been kind of happy where they're going, and I don't like where they're at anymore. So eventually I'm just going to redo the whole page. I don't like the layout, how I have them, but I'm just going to show you the pictures to begin with. And they're kind of hard to see, but imagine being back in this time and taking and getting these photos. I mean, it looks like their seats were kind of far away, but they took either a really good camera in. I mean, this was before cell phones and such, or they just got really lucky with a good zoom lens. They took a big camera in. It's hard to say. But they're all just really special. She's so tiny right there. Hopefully that one's showing, yeah. And I love that one. It's a little bit blurry, but she's kind of like just dancing, moving, so that's really cute. So that is the first batch of them, and then there are these. This one was separate. I want to say, yeah, it was. It looks to me like they had tried to enlarge this one. It's blurry, you can tell, and you can see that that's the original right there. They probably tried to enlarge it to see if it would come out any better. I could almost not make this one out here, what was going on here. But it looks like she just has her back to the stage. And so there's a few more here. This was mostly Lindsay and John by the looks of it. That one's a great shot. Then there were some here of Chris. These are really hard to see. I'm going to guess she was furthest away from him. Try and capture the image. Can barely make that one out. You barely see that's Christine right there. But anyway, like I said, this page was maybe, these ones were kind of so-so, just the layout that I had, but I don't know. I don't like it anymore. So I'm probably going to redo these. And then it seems like there's some more of them somewhere. But when I finish them, eventually I'll have to get that together and the little books that I told you that I had that they came in. And I think I want that to be part of the page as well, because there's just that memory. There's that little keepsake. Again, it's before we had, I don't know about you, but we take a digital pic now, maybe not a concert photo, but a digital picture now. We basically forget about it. We capture the moment, but we seldom ever print it out. We don't put it anywhere. We don't take it out and look at it much anymore. But when you used to go back and get photos, and especially when you had that little photo album made with these photos there, that's something you pull out and you probably look at more often, or show your friends, or take with you, or something like that. So there's just a little something to that I would like to have is I like to have that together and put it with those photos. So these were some really nice ones of Stevie early. Again, there's probably a date to be had somewhere, and I'm actually also not sure who took these photos. And also, I'm sorry, go back again to the ones from Japan. I think I have their names, so I ought to give them that credit. But I'm the only one with any copies of them, so I don't feel quite as bad. Kind of dug this paper that looked like a whole bunch of songbirds, or 3 birds of Rhiannon or something. This is a cool shot. This photo is taken by Paul Canty. This one was. Looks like I got a little glue on that. It's not on the picture. Then both these photos of the guys were taken by Bill Doris Pastenbach. I think is how you say his last name. A lot of pictures by him too. And I think I wrote down his name wrong. I think I forgot to put in the S. I'm pretty sure it's Pastenbach. Yeah, yeah. I forgot when I wrote down his name. I put it down. Forgot to spell it wrong. That's all right. You know. This was the page. I guess I am starting that part of the book. I didn't realize I was that early into it, where I put the like I said, the little divider. I've had this little um, penguin thing. Geez, I don't even know how long. Just like a little a stencil, just a little scrapbook embellishment, but it's just a cutout like that, and I just think it's so cute. It just goes so well with it. This is an old pass, an old Fleetwood Mac pass. It's a really hard, thick plastic. I've mentioned in the past having a friend who had a bookstore in, record store in Canyon Country, which is like near Magic Mountain, near Los Angeles area. And I used to live there for like a hot minute. And then I took a good friend of mine there. And at that time, he gave us a copy of a signed copy of Mick Fleetwood's 25 Years in Fleetwood Mac. He gave my friend and I passes, so I know she had one and I had one because they weren't all the same. So like we had to be nice. We had to play fair and pick stuff, and it was really hard because both of us want both of the items, but we're like, no, we have to share. So this was one of the things. He had he had Stevie's uniform from like a baseball game, an all pros game that I'll show pictures of and tell the story about that at a later time, which I never got. But he had like coffee mugs. I think that's where I got my Mirage mug that changes color. Just a lot of stuff. But I remember getting this pass and it was being so cool. The hard plastic. This was an old iron-on that was taken out of a newspaper, like in the funnies. They would give you, stickers, or this was an iron-on. It would still work. And it's funny enough, the girl, actually a friend gave it to me. A friend named Steven met somebody else elsewhere who sent me a whole bunch of their stuff. And it looks like the person had tried to use it a couple times, like on the fabric, which didn't really pan out. But this is still the original piece. And by the colors and stuff, you probably could still use it because it's so yellow and so red, which, are pretty permanent. But, I would never try. But it is an old vintage iron-on, which is kind of funny. Here are some outtakes from Rumors. Really not rare or anything like that. I'm not sure if I brought this person up yet, but their name is, now let me think because I just completely forgot it. I'll remember in a second, but there's a seller on eBay that I had mentioned in the past when I used to do videos showing my scrapbook for a Facebook website. And they have some really great photos at their fingertips, negatives and stuff like that. And occasionally they'll come out with things for purchase, and they're very fairly priced. And I don't know them, I don't endorse them per se, but I've always really liked them, and these are things that I bought from them. Gosh, now that's going to drive me nuts what their name is. Photo by Herbert Worthington, though, I know that much. And they've had these photos for a long time. They've had things like this well before Herbert's estate went up and people were getting a hold of that. It appears to me that they are kind of person who, and they aren't specifically a Fleetwood Mac collector, but they just seem to have had access to these things for many years. I've been buying from them slowly and surely for ages now. Some other cool Stevie outings and more Rumors outtakes. That's going to drive me nuts now. But anyway, I know when I come up with it, I know that you can buy those prints, for example. This one and its sister on the next page were really cool prints that I got off of eBay. These were just things I did print out. These I do not have any access to. Hence, you can see the heads cut off and such. I was just trying to kind of make a little Rumors page. It is very seldom that I print out pictures. It's very seldom that I would also show anything that I haven't purchased. But they're just up on various web pages, so nobody has claim to them, or I hope not anyway. and they are Herbert Worthington's work. So I felt as long as I can honor the photographer's name, then I'm doing okay. These photos though are, I don't remember if there's a name on the back of them. Let's see here. Nope, there must not have been, but this is the first one, and then this is this little sister picture, which I thought was really cute. Kind of wish I put them together because they just look so adorable together. But I just thought putting them with more of the rumors pictures would really kind of stand out. A little pop of color in between each one. Some really great rumors. I like that one a lot. Okay. Next up, from May 1, 1977, article out of the Chicago Tribune, Arts and Fun Books, Fleetwood Mac, Going to the Top. Really nice vintage newspaper article. And this is the article itself here. These are from some pictures, some of them. There are more that I have. In fact, things that I have had the negatives to. And I don't think this is my full pack, but this is from Fleetwood Mac performing 5/7/1977, and I believe it's Down the Green, if I'm not mistaken. This is an original photo, which I love. I love Christine's. And then these are from some of the negatives that I still have. And then again from negatives here. Then this is an original photo. Back to negatives. Negatives. Love that one. This was gifted to me a long time ago from a friend in San Francisco. She had this picture and made me a copy of it. Don't know who it's by. Back to negatives. Another really cute one here. And then 2 original photos and 1 from negatives. This one is really great. Unfortunately, none of the photos that I have who took them. I don't know. I didn't get them at the same time as the negatives, so I can't tell you. And when I acquired the negatives, I didn't get the name of the person, so I just had the copyright and gave the copyright or forwarded it on with the negatives that I did sell. But some I still have, and these are the only ones. There are more from this, of which I've sold the negatives, but the ones that I'm showing you are the ones that I still have the negatives to. So yeah, some really nice, but I love these originals. I especially love this one here. Going to go into kind of a small portion that I kind of was trying to go around because I was starting to put together pictures from these sessions here. This session, I should say. So this was just kind of a hodgepodge. This was kind of an older page. It was mostly put together, but it had some Xerox stuff. So I included the newer photos. This is a photo I took ages ago. I mean, years ago, of a poster that I have. Actually, that same guy that I'm talking about, funny enough, that store in Canyon Country that I mentioned when I first moved there, I was not married yet, but with my soon-to-be husband, but who's now my ex, but we're still very, very close. So I have nothing but nice things to say about him. But we had just moved there, and of course, when I'm in a new town, I have to find the record store. And the record store was not exactly close. Like it was like a bus trip and then a short walk. So I find the record store and go in there, and he's got all this Fleetwood Mac stuff, and I'm just losing my mind. I had no money, still, real young, and we just moved to Canyon Country, so I hadn't started working yet. So I went back home and went through my records and stuff like that, and took stuff in to see if he would do any trade or any part trade, part cash, and stuff like that. And sure enough, he did some trade, and the first thing I purchased was this poster, but it was framed already, and it was like, I still have it to this day. The frame job on this was very professionally done. It is heavy as hell, and the poster is not exactly tiny. And so I got it, and then I'm super happy. I can't wait to take home my new pride and joy. Kind of forgetting that there's a bit of a walk and that bus ride home, and this item is large. It's super big, and I just literally felt like Stevie Nicks in the Hold Me video, walking through the desert with that it's just, I must look so funny. People driving up and down the road because I'm holding this really large, largely framed portrait of Fleetwood Mac, which I was very proud of, but it's just kind of funny. But this was acquired at that same store. And someday I'll do a video on all my posters, what I have left. Or I don't have a lot of posters left, some that I have left, but I have a lot of nice prints, and they are still posters. I guess this would be considered a poster, but it's still in its original frame. And as you can see, even in the picture, I guess these posters that used to be issued from Warner Brother to record stores did come folded up. So when you fold it all up, it's about 12 by 12. But when you open it, well, let's see, it's 12 by 12 times 6, which don't even ask me to math, but that tells you how big the poster is. So it's quite large, but just funny. Anyway, sorry. That's why I'm here, right? To tell you dumb stories. But so this photo session, I just wanted to start taking because I had this poster from TV Guide or something, TV Week. TV Week giant pinup. So that was pretty funny. Vintage 1970 something out of a TV Guide, basically. And then I've always thought that possibly the same session, but they've changed clothes. I can't be sure, but just by Stevie's hair and everything like that, I always thought that this is the same time. The background and everything like that is the same. So John is virtually wearing the same thing. Lindsay's virtually wearing the same thing. Nick maybe just took off the jacket. It's hard to say. But Stevie's hair is almost verbatim, so I think it's the same session. You love Stevie in jeans, old bell-bottom jeans, so cute. I always thought, and I don't know that this is necessarily a compliment, but in this case it is, but that she looks really like Carly Simon in these photos. Lindsay showing off the who can kick it up better, which I've always thought was kind of funny. Especially here. This photo is where I think she looks like Carly. And then just some random live shots that kind of didn't know where to go, so just put them in here. Then this write-up. I think this write-up in Japan this is from 1991, but it's still a rumors write-up, so probably one of the reissues. So that will do it for my first episode from volume 2 of the scrapbook that I have, going into the, more towards rumors, so more towards 77. But like I said, I'm sure that some of the stuff coming up is still going to be, it's probably going to be all over the place. I don't think it's as far as 79, 80, because that book also is separate, because I really tried to keep 80. So I think I know stuff that's a little bit closer from 79 to 80. But yeah, so that's what I've got so far. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we're coming back with even more really cool stuff next time. So join me again, and thank you so much for watching this time. Have a great night. Bye.